Truth Sports Network. Remember, the Grueling Truth is powered by betting.net. Betting.net is your best bet for finding the online casino or sports book that's right for you. Make sure you check out betting.net. I'm your co-host for the Cincinnati Bengals Weekly Show, Mike Goodpasser. Right now, I'd like to welcome in my co-host, number 58, started in Super Bowl 23 for the Bengals. Help me welcome to the show, Joe Kelly. How you doing, Joe?
Oh, Mike, what a week, man! What a week! I was supposed to go to the game. Had another commitment, but man, what a game! You talk about a city that is ready to ignite, man. This city will get behind the team. The city's been behind the team all throughout this long drought. But man, what a week to be a Bengal fan. What a week to be a Bengal fan.
Well, a Cincinnati football fan, you get the Bearcats ranked number 2.
Right,
And
right,
I mean,
right.
they look like they've got a legitimate chance to possibly make the Final Four in college football. You get the Bengals who lead the AFC.
Yeah,
And the thing about it is this: all the people talk now, well, the Ravens had 17 guys on IR. They had 17 guys on IR for the last few weeks. They had it when they beat up the Chargers. The thing that stands out to me is the Chargers lost to them 31-6. And when they asked Justin Herbert after the game what was the issue with playing against the Ravens, he said that they gave him stuff that he'd never seen before.
yeah,
Joe
yeah,
Burrow, on the other hand, they
yeah,
asked him. He said it was nothing that I did not expect. So I
yeah.
think right there, that tells you the difference between Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow.
Absolutely. Joe had an opportunity to play, the ball to the Ravens last year. So, obviously the Bengals will be more familiar, with the Ravens and their scheme. But what it does here, when you're talking about the young guns of the NFL, they're still a cover two is a cover two, a cover three is a cover three. Man, free, all that is still the same. Uh, but that shows you right now. That shows you the separation that Joe Burrow has over Herbert. Uh, if you look at a lot of football aficionados talking about young quarterbacks, I believe a lot of people had Herbert above Joe Burrows. We know, you and I, a lot of fans, Cincinnati Bengal fans. Last year, we knew that this kid was special, and he's come back from a horrific injury, and he got right back on the bicycle, man, and it hasn't missed a beat. Joe Burrow is the truth. I think when you talk about the young quarterbacks in the league right now and what they're doing, I don't see a quarterback playing better overall, leading his team the way Joe Burrows is doing right now.
Yeah, in this game, 23 for 38, 416 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did throw one bad interception.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the other thing that stands out to me is you usually don't run the ball in the Ravens. And the Bengals only ran the ball 24 times. But
Mm-hmm.
Joe Mixon, 12 for 59. Samaje Perine, 11 for 52. Between the two of them, they averaged almost 5 yards per carry. So
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was effective. And then the other thing is everybody freaks out about Jamar Chase. The thing I take away from this, and the thing I've taken away from the last month or so, is the progression of C.J. Uzama at tight end.
Yes, yes. You and I, we talked about that. So we talked about how talented uh, this three receiver core was. You have Alden coming off the bench. You have Joe Mixon coming out of the backfield. I think the young kid from Michigan can, possibly be that serious third down threat. You look at that, and we talked about, man. Imagine if we had a tight end in here that can stretch the field, a tight end that now teams can't overlook. And CJ, man, CJ is, he's playing lights out. He made both touchdowns. He made some great moves on it. But I think his confidence level is right up there. And this guy's playing lights out tight end. He's You look at him, he's putting up numbers, but he's making plays. And with that, you have a tight end that now here they can't put anybody over top Jamar. They can't put anybody over T Higgins. We have Tyler Boyd underneath. You look at that. If we continue to get this type of play, and I doesn't have to score. Last week was a great game. It doesn't have to score two tight ends, but if he's able to make them safeties play honest, he's able to make them keep a safety over top, and he's roaming in the middle. It's no telling. We put 41 points against a defensive team that has been playing well. We put 41 points up against them, and I think right now, man, we're just scratching the surface.
Yeah, and I think the thing that's most impressive, this team has done this, I think, more as a defensive team than anything else. And if you look, the Bengals switched things up in this game, and rather than running the usual 3-4-5-2, they used more of a 4-3 stack, which I thought allowed the second level to flow against the Ravens' rushing attack. And then when it comes to the passing game, the Bengals were able to get multiple coverage sacks, and the pass rushers did a great job of staying in their lanes to contain Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. And as a football player, as a football coach, football people, we know, we talked about, it before here, Lamar, you just don't give up the 50, 60-yard run. When you're rushing, and you have to be very disciplined in your pass rushing lanes, and we did that. You see, there was times that normally Lamar would get out, he would step right, you would move up in the pocket. Every time he moved up, the majority of the time, he got out of the pocket a couple of times here and there, but he's going to do that. But the majority of the times when he came in and he moved to the right or he moved to the left, or tried to reverse and come out, our defensive ends are right there. Oh, no, buddy, you got to turn back in. And then our inside guys are pushing the pocket. When you do that, you're going to be successful, against them. You're going to be successful, against the kid from Arizona. When you have a guy, a scrambling type of quarterback, and you are playing, really disciplined pass rush defense. Not only are we getting pushed up the middle, our defensive ends are beating offensive tackles. They're keeping contained, and therefore, when you have a situation like that, now this guy has to go to his first read, second read, third read, and our guys are playing lights out in the defensive backfield. But it allows them to do that because of the pass rush.
Yeah, and I mean Larry Ogunjobi, guys like that. There's a lot of times I saw Ogunjobi just stay at the line of scrimmage in the middle of the line just so they could close the pocket on him, and he didn't have a way to take off running. And Lamar ended up with, I think, 330 total yards, which sounds like a lot, but on offense, 15 for 31, 257 and a touchdown. If your quarterback's doing that, you're usually losing, especially in an offense like the Ravens run. Devontae Freeman, 14 yards rushing. Ty Williams, 10. Le'Veon Bell, 5 carries, 5 yards. And the thing that sticks out to me, Logan Wilson's an absolute stud. And the thing is, on every level of this defense, there's a stud. Whether it's Ty Hendrickson and Sam Hubbard on the D-line, you got Logan Wilson at linebacker. I don't think enough people have talked about what Awuzi's done at corner to make this team better.
He's definitely.
Yeah, and then Jesse Bates, who I think is one of the best safeties in football. I think this, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I did the NFL Pick'em show last night, and when they asked me who the two best teams in the AFC are, I said the Bills and the Bengals, and usually when I say something like that, I laugh, Joe.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is what it is. I don't think anybody said, okay, at this point in time, we're going to be leading the AFC. We were hoping I think, as Bengal fans, we'd have been happy, with a 4-3 at this point, but a 3-4, we said, okay, we'll probably be 3-4 when you look at after 7 games. Really, honestly, we really should have been, we should be 6-1.
Could be 7-0, Joe.
We could, I mean, there's going to be games throughout the season where that happens. You look at the defense, what they're doing here. Our defensive line is tremendously better. Logan Wilson, like I said, last time we talked, the game has slowed down to him. Now he's able to play defense. Now his natural ability is able to come out and to dissect plays and read the quarterback, and feel the hole because he's not thinking as much. Our DBs, you got to mention Bell, our the other safety as well. Actually, Bates is playing as good as any safety in the league right now. But Bell, I think the physicality of our defense is coming from him. I think he's a vocal leader. I think he's the, to me, it looks like he's the energizer guy. He's the guy I always see talking, always see communicating. And then those other guys, here, the play that we're getting out of our defensive ends is amazing. And you look at the corner, here, he's come in. And this guy, as much as I've talked about everybody else, that guy right there is playing some lights out football. And when you have corners that can run with receivers, when you got corners that can cover, it's going to make your whole team, better. And defensively, we're playing just as good as any defense in the league right now.
Yeah, and offensively, the thing that I hope is my concern with Zach Taylor was always a little too conservative. I don't think they throw the ball deep early in the game enough. I think they kind of wait till the second half. I think if this offense, and this may not even be in the plan, but if this offense could go no huddle and play tempo, I think they would destroy everything.
Yeah, I think, with Zach, here we all really haven't been big fans of Zach and, his play calling and, some decisions that he's made. I think right now, talent-wise, we have talent now. And I think in some situations our talent, has risen above the coaching. We said even in the beginning of the season, we have a talented team. Our receiving corps is just as talented as any three receivers. Joe Burrows is just as special as any quarterback out there. I'm not going to say he's the number one quarterback, but he's making
put it like
plays.
this, Joe. Let me ask you this question. You may not say he's the number one quarterback, but is there any quarterback you would rather have on this team right now?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If I were to say any quarterback, it would be Aaron Rodgers. That's it. I wouldn't take anybody else, over. You have other quarterbacks playing lights out, but I think this guy, when you look at the intangibles, when you look at, we talked about, in the season, some things that players have, he has that. That's not something that you can coach. That's not something that you can teach. He has that. He's a natural born leader. You see it come out in Joe in his play. He has that. He has that it factor, Mike. He has that in the way he has his swag. When he comes out, man, he's talking to other guys. He's always. You see he's calm, he's cool, he's coming, guy makes plays, and he's not rattled easy. He's made a couple bad passes, but then here you look at what happened in Chicago. Those are 3 consecutive interceptions.
And then he throws a touchdown pass.
And then he throws a touchdown. So here you look at this, man. It's that's a special guy. So we're Bingo fans, Bingo Nation is fortunate the fact that we were so bad, we had the opportunity to draft Joe Burrows. And I think this kid is going to be, do something. I cannot, it would be a shame for this guy not to be able to take this team to a couple Super Bowls based on his talent and that special it factor that he has.
Well, the other thing is this, him getting injured may have been a good thing last year because it's probably what got us Jamar Chase.
Well, exactly. Yeah, that's definitely.
You win a couple more games, you may not get him.
You may not have got him. So here, that was another weapon. CJ here, even though CJ's always been a solid. He's always been a solid backup tight end. I never thought that he was going to be the threat, a passing threat. Other than the 5-yard out, hook up, 5-yard hook. But he's a tight end now. He's getting downfield. He's making plays downfield, and that right there, that opens everything up. You look at that, and that's going to allow here when the defenses they have another person to key on. Boom, you hit Joe Mixon 25-yard run. Here the other running back here 40-yard run. it opens up because now here you just can't play that base defense. Okay, we're going to put 7 in the box. We're going to start the run. Okay, are we going to do this? To stop the 3 wides. Now you got to take the tight end. I mean, take the safety out of what you would normally do. Having him over top, playing over top for Jamar Chase or Higgins. Now you have to be concerned about the guy. Now you put him in situations where it's 1-on-1. And he beat you bad. He had 2 touchdowns. So now I think teams are going to play it honest, and they're going to have to put their defense and play honest overall. You're not going to be able just to let's focus, let's keep somebody over top, let's play too deep, because if you play too deep, our tight end is going to be able to kill you. So it's a great weapon for us.
All right, now I know a lot of people think the Bengals are just going to win without a problem against the Jets. I think that this is a huge game for this team if they are a legitimate Super Bowl contender, because you have to be able to handle success too. And a lot of teams can. The Jets were good enough to beat a really good Titans team in New York a few weeks ago. So to me, this is a huge game for the Bengals. And I don't care how they win it, but they have to win this game.
Yeah. Well, you look at it. Any time here when you're talking about making the playoffs, being a playoff contender, definitely being a Super Bowl contender, you have to win a game like this. This is a team that their starting quarterback is not going to play. They're not. They have holes all throughout on offense, on defense. I think the coach, if he's able to stay there a couple of years, I think he's a great guy. It's still you're not certain whether or not he's going to be a really good coach, but I think he has a lot of potential. But as far as the Jet organization, where they are right now, I don't think they're in a good place. So here, the thing is, like you said, us being complacent. We just beat Baltimore, and you walk in there, you walk into Jet Stadium if you want to, and thinking about Baltimore. At the end of the day, everybody across from you, they get paid too. They're professionals. This thing is still on any given Sunday. We're at the top of the AFC right now, Mike, but we're not good enough to think that we can walk in against anybody. You see what happened to Jacksonville. In the Jacksonville game, hey, we had problems. And they hadn't won a game in, I think at that time, 15, 16 games in a row. So when you look at that, if we go up here and we're complacent and we're reading and reading all the good press about us, and we're looking at TV and telling us how great we are, we can go into New York and get our ass kicked.
Yeah, it happens in the NFL every weekend. Somebody loses and doesn't expect to. I would say if we equate this with 1988, I would say this would be like the Jets game in '88, where you guys were coming off to like 42-7 win over the Raiders in LA, where even though the Raiders weren't considered a great team, they were a good team. And the Bengals had a history of never winning out there. I think that was the Bengals' first win against the Raiders in LA or Oakland in 1988. You guys come back the next game against the Jets. I think won the game like 36-19, but it was a game where you guys actually started slow and fell behind early.
Yeah. You go in and like I said, when you're coming off a high, and you be at the end of the day, people can say what they want. Baltimore, that's a good team. That's a well coached team, and for him to lose the amount of players that he's lost and still be at the top of the league, it shows you how good a coach that he is. But to dispel all the naysayers that everybody, it was probably 90% of the people thought that we were going to go in there and we were going to get smashed. Now you come that and you've won that. Now people all of a sudden that you go from hey, well, they're going to go into Baltimore and they go in here and get smacked, get back, knocked down to reality. Now those same people are saying, oh man, you guys can go to the Super Bowl, and you're listening to that. So this is a fairly young team. We do have some veterans, but this team has not won consistently enough to think that they can go in, and just waltz into New York and beat this Jet team without their quarterback. They're going to have another quarterback in there, and that kid can go in there and start playing lights out. They can start making plays, getting some turnovers, some special team plays, and then before you know it, you're in a dogfight in New York against a not so, good team. And now you guys are, you have to make a big play in order to win the game. So we got to go down there, play solid. Hopefully the coaches, get the guy, hey, we won that. Let's get past it. Let's go to work. Let's go to work and let's win these games we're supposed to, because we have some other good teams coming on the horizon.
Yeah, and obviously it's the Jets, so I don't have a lot to talk about when it comes to the Jets, but let's look at a defensive mindset. You get Mike White. He was 20 for 32 last week, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. There's really not a lot of film on him. How do you prepare for that? I mean, the thing that stands out to me in your career would be 1986, where the Steelers all of a sudden are starting a guy nobody's ever heard of in Bubby Brister
Bubby.
on a
Yeah.
Sunday night game in Cincinnati, and Bubby played his ass off.
Yeah. Here, you look at that. In the NFL, you're getting a chance to start. No matter who you are, what position you're in, when you get that call, that nod to say that you're starting, you got to imagine the energy and the euphoria going to a person that there's nobody that grew up and said, okay, here I'm going to play in the NFL, I'm going to be a star, this and that, da da da. You get here and it's surreal. Now you're starting. This is a dream come true. Now you're in that position. This is a situation that people have been waiting their entire lives. You think about Drew Bledsoe. Nobody was worried about Tom Brady, dude. Who's Tom Brady? Little skinny, frail, bad built guy. Drew Bledsoe goes out. This dude comes in. Now potentially the greatest quarterback to ever live. So here you don't know. You don't know. Here Bledsoe definitely still was the quarterback of the future at that time. Got hurt, and Tom never looked back. So not to say this would happen, but it's an opportunity for that kid to come in. And start his official game. Guys can rally behind him, and it takes a play or two. Mike, you get a special team kickoff return for a touchdown, punt return for a touchdown. Your defense get a turnover, offense somebody break coverage. Here touchdown. Now you're in a dogfight. So it's whoever makes the last play.
All right, Joe, before we get to our pick on the game, I want to remind everybody that betting.net finds the best promotions, discounts, and bonus codes so you don't have to. Head over to their website now to take advantage of things like free bets and matching deposits. Make sure you check out betting.net. What's your score for this game, Joe? Do we continue to roll?
Well, I don't. It's not going to be 41-17. I think here. I think we're a team. We're a young team. We're not used to winning. I definitely think that we're gonna we're riding a high. I think we're gonna go in there. We're gonna start slow. I think New York is going to be in it. But I think right now we have better talent. And I think this game alone, we can win on talent. But the Jets are going to show us that, hey, this is the NFL, and don't matter what your record is, how you played the last week is on any given Sunday. So in my opinion, I think it's going to be a close game. I'm going to say, it's going to be something like 24-17. I think we should prevail. I think we will prevail, but I think it's going to be tough. I don't think it's going to be what we did to Baltimore. I don't see that.
All right, Joe. I'm not sure either, but I do know this: with a guy like Joe Burrow, I think we're in pretty good shape. I'm going to say Bengals 34, Jets 9. I think it is a blowout. I think it's because Mike White, when you watch the All-22 film of him last week, I don't think he read the defense real well. He threw 2 interceptions that were very bad. I think the Bengals defense is actually better than the Patriots defense right now, and the Patriots have a good defense. But I think with the Bengals secondary, the Bengals' ability to get after the quarterback, and the Jets have had some injuries on that offensive line, I think it's going to be really hard for them to score any points in this game with Mike White at the helm. I think it would have been the same thing with Zach Wilson, because Zach Wilson to me is Mike White.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson was a bad draft pick by the Jets, but that's what the Jets do.
Yeah, I think that our defense will play stout. I think we'll stout. I'm saying this is the NFL. I think that when you get in the situations and historically looking, I've played in games where we should have went in there and dominated, and it's a big play. It's a big play on special teams. It's a block punt. I think the Jets have to do something like that in order to keep the game close.
And they have to do it early.
Yeah. So I think it's the NFL, man. I just think from week to week, we're not that. We're not. I don't see. We're an upstart team. I'm calm. Really excited about where they're going and what we have. But you build this. This is something built. Okay. All of a sudden now we're going to win and we're going to be consistent the rest of the season. We're going to have some falls. We have 10 more games left. When you're talking about okay, they're going to have 3 falls. Okay, that's fine. You went 7 more. You know what I mean? So that's a hell of a season.
Yeah, I think we'll all take 12-5, Joe, and 12-5 might get you the number 1 seed. And I think the main reason I think the Bengals are a Super Bowl contender is not that I think the Bengals are that great yet. It's the fact that when I look at the AFC, the only team that really scares you is the Buffalo Bills, and they scare you because of the defense of the quarterback. They really don't have a running game in Buffalo. It's not like Patrick Mahomes is rolling with a defense anymore. It's not like Tom Brady's with the Patriots or Peyton Manning's with the Colts. This is completely wide open right now.
Yeah. I mean, you look at it. There's not a I think right now how we all feel as Bengal fans that we look at the fact. I think any team that we didn't think we could match up against was Baltimore. If you look at it, the Buffalo here, that's another team. But there's going into prior to last week, I would say Baltimore, because of Lamar, I don't know if we can match up with him, or I don't know if we can contain him. Not only contained him, we dominated him, we whooped him. So now when you take that out of quotation, you have to step back and say, okay, there's Buffalo. But Buffalo's not as good, in my opinion, as Baltimore. They have a good team. You got Leslie Frazier. He has.
I think they have a lot better defense, Joe. And
Yeah,
I
Buffalo,
think Josh Allen.
Yeah, Buffalo does.
I think Josh Allen has developed a little bit more to Lamar Jackson. I don't think that's Lamar's fault. I think it's the fact that they haven't got him a Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, and I like Josh, but I still I'll take Lamar over him, because at the end of the day, Lamar can run 70 yards on any play.
But you don't win Super Bowls like that, Joe.
Yeah, you don't.
And I mean, the thing is this. I still think with Lamar was a pocket passer at Louisville. The fact that they don't give him the weapons at wide receiver. I mean, you've given him a little bit now with Hollywood Brown. But really, if you give Lamar Jackson some weapons, he can throw for 400 yards a game. I mean, Russell Wilson doesn't run because they got him DK Metcalf to get him all these wide receivers, and he's got weapons. So I don't think it's on Lamar. But the thing that struck me is when I picked this game last week on the weekly show is I went from taking the Bengals into points to, when you break down position for position, the Bengals are better than the Ravens at almost every position.
Yeah, but then when you add Harbaugh,
but I wouldn't add Harbaugh.
Zach,
yeah, but you know what? You can have the better coach if I have superior talent, because we all know great coaches have superior talent most of the time.
Yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, Mike, the Bengals are a good organization now. It's one thing here when you talk about playing in the NFL, you got a long season, and now I think that they know that they can play with anybody, and that's it. When you're talking about talent level, and we're looking at talent, who has more talent, who's better, this and that. There's a fine line in NFL. Everybody is within this talent wise. When you talk about guys making it into the NFL, everybody's talented. It's when you put a group together that gels, when you put the right pieces here and there. Here you Cincinnati go, okay, we have Patrick Bates, we have that piece. Then you add Bill last year. Now you add the corners. Now, and then you add the interior guys, and then you go get a guy, one defensive end from New Orleans. You look at that, then wow, now it's a mixture. You put that stuff in there, Mike, and we rode. We rode 7. We won. You know what I mean? You look at it, man, and it's working for us. And I think with us, we're gonna get more confident as we go.
Let me ask you this real quick before we wrap it up. There's rumors that Xavier Howard is on the trading block. and the Bengals are one of the teams talking to him, would you give up a first round pick for Xavier Howard?
You know what? I don't know if I'll give up on a first round pick. I don't think I'll give up a first round
I
pick.
think I
You know,
would.
you would?
Yeah, I
Well,
would because I think he might be the best corner in football. You put him opposite of Woozy with Bell
yeah,
and
but
Bates back there.
but you know what, Mike? First round pick, man. I don't know, man. That could be a stretch because you know it's you know if is he more comfortable in that scheme? You don't know if he's going to be every you know you have a lot of players.
How
You
about
know,
this, Joe? I'll go at it from this angle. If we think we're making a deep playoff run, that first round pick may be anywhere from the 25th to the 32nd player, and you're getting a
right?
Pro Bowl corner instead.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it could. I just defensive backs, cornerbacks, because you can find corners. You can find corners to like you said, and it would be based on. So if we do have a deep run, then it doesn't look so well. If we don't, we wind up dumping the rest of the season. Then you give up that. Okay, here you're talking about here we still need the linemen. Here you can get a nice linebacker to go with Logan. So there's options when you look at corners because at the end of the day, here we went and signed Trey Waynes. Everybody said that was a great pick. I thought it was a great pick.
But he's hurt
A
all the
great
time.
sign, a great sign. But I'm looking at him, and it's he's good. He's a good player. He's a good player. But he's not a special player. He's not a shutdown. He's not a shutdown guy. No weight, no shape, no fashion, no form. He's not he's a solid guy, but he's not a shutdown guy. So if you're saying, okay, if Howard, if you think he's a shutdown guy,
I think he's a shutdown guy.
You think he's a shutdown guy?
I think he's a shutdown guy.
If
I
he-
think he's
if
one
he-
of the
I-
three best corners in the NFL.
If he's a shutdown guy here, that's worth more than a first round pick. You have a shutdown corner. You're defensive coordinator. You can do some amazing things with a shutdown corner because you're talking about the shutdown corner, Dion. So that whole side of the field is shut down. You can play, you can gamble, you can do some things. So I see him. I would have to see him, Mike, because I seen him in periods here and there. I never really looked at him. I never looked at a game. So I can't really make an honest opinion on that. But if you say he's a shutdown
Hey,
corner,
put it like this, Joe. Last year he had 10 interceptions.
yeah.
I mean, that's not too bad. And if you
Yeah.
look at his career in 6 years, he's had 24. He's had 2 so far this year. The thing about that, though, is this. I think what Bengal fans are going to be surprised from, if they can make a playoff run, and you've got Joe Burrow, and you've made guys like Ty Hendrickson happy by coming here, where they're not upset with the Bengal organization.
Yeah.
I think that then you open yourself up to be able to possibly get some big time free agents if you want to.
Yeah. I can see them, here when you look at I think here you're able to get him and you trade Trey Waynes. I don't see Mike doing that because you still got this monstrous corner contract for a corner that's only giving you 3-4 games. I don't even know if it's giving us that many.
I think it's like 2 maybe, and I don't even know if those 2 were complete. But the other thing about him doing this, I don't remember the Bengals trading anybody to trade deadline that was significant since 1984 when they traded Pete Johnson for James Brooks.
Yeah. I don't here if somebody is willing to give him up, take a Trey Waynes, because a healthy Trey Waynes is a good corner. I don't think he's one of the top corners in the league. I think he's a solid guy. But I think you've been out of football. You've been out of football for a whole year, year and a half, and now you're still hurt. I don't care who you are. You're not a Reggie White talent. We're not. Most of us are not Reggie White. Lawrence Taylor talents. We're talented, but we're not that good. So we can stay out of football for a year and a half, and then come back and be, one of the top guys. But I don't know. Jamar Chase is maybe dispelling that, Mike.
Yeah. All right, Joe. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Remember, you check out. We are powered by betting.net. Make sure you check them out. You can follow me at Grueling Truth. We'll be back next week, hopefully, to talk about the 6-2 Bengals in an actual Battle of Ohio the way it used to be, where both
Yeah.
teams are pretty good and both
Right.
teams have
Right.
something on the line. It's been a long
Yeah.
time, I think, since
Been a
we've
long
seen
time.
that.
Been a
So,
long time,
Joe,
brother.
we're going to go ahead. We're going to wrap it up. And for Joe Kelly, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been watching and listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.